Good morning. My name is Olivia Kosick, and today I will be sharing with you um, a PowerPoint on Girls Inc. And what your day will look like volunteering with us. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so starting off, in case you are not familiar, Girls Inc. is a nonprofit that is located nationally in Canada and then also starting an affiliate in Puerto Rico. So we serve many students, many girls throughout the states and neighboring countries. So what we do, so we are a nonprofit that is building a new generation of strong, smart, and bold leaders. That will come up again. That's strong, smart, and bold. So what we are, Girls Inc. is actually the longest running girls leadership program. We've been around since the Civil War. So very established, has seen many different um, uh, evolutions and yeah, why we do it. We believe that girls are powerful and that they deserve to be in an equitable society. So, equity and equality are two different things. So equitable means a person being able to come to the table with the same resources and whatever more resources they need to be successful. So how we do this, so we'll talk about this more in depth in a little bit, but the Girls Inc. Experience provides comprehensive interactive leadership development so that we can equip girls with the knowledge and skills to reach their full potential and support to actively realize it. So the mission of Girls Inc. Is to inspire all girls to be strong, smart, and bold. Like I said, we talked about that just briefly in the previous slide. So we do this through our research-based curriculum. So we do this so that girls can see college as an attainable option. We also do this so that they can explore professional fields in STEM that to date have traditionally not been for women, and especially women of color, people who are non-binary, LGBTQI plus folks who have not had that option, and also to resist peer pressure and develop life skills. So how Girls Inc. of San Diego operates, so as an affiliate, we operate as an outreach program model. So this means that we provide no cost, high quality programmings that have been research based to high need girls and students. So what we mean by high need is students who attend, live, are a part of communities that just have higher needs that have been systematically redlined or left out of the conversation and gentrified, and also not given the resources that it needs to be a successful, thriving community. So we operate in public schools, charter schools, and sometimes in community centers and other nonprofit centers as well. So we do this as a pro-girl inclusive environment. A lot of the girls and students we serve do identify as girl, but we do have some that do not and who are non-binary, who are trans. So it's important to just know the language that you're using. Even though we are called Girls Inc., we are inclusive to anyone who is pro-girl, anyone who needs that supported environment. We also do this with our trained program mentors. So our staff leads these research-based programs as well. And like I mentioned too, just going a little bit more in detail, we only serve girls or students from Title I schools. So Title I schools are schools that are underserved and offer free or reduced lunch. So the Girls Inc. experience. So at the beginning, we just quickly talked about the Girls Inc. experience. So this in front of you, this is a wheel. So we have many categories in our Girls Inc. experience. And what we mean by that is, how does Girls Inc. Provide and uplift the students that we're working for to make an impact. So we do this through mentoring relationships, intentional programming, research-based curricula, interactive activities, sustained exposure, girls only, pro girl is the word I like to use, environment. So this was developed by our national office. So this is still a tool that we use today. So just briefly going through each part of this wheel. So mentoring relationships, the staff, the volunteers, yourself, our partners who come in, we want that relationship to be mentoring. We want it to be a two-sided relationship, right? We don't want it to be one-sided, one side being more than, one side being lesser than. We want it to be positive and supportive. So our intentional programming has to do with what we are teaching the students is intentional. There is thought and research behind it. It makes a difference in the students' lives. It's applicable to their lives as well. Research-based curricula. So our Girls Inc. National Office will do a pretty extensive pilot program if they're launching a new program to make sure that the outcomes and the measurables are reached before that curriculum becomes available for the whole network. So that's what we mean by research-based curricula. Interactive activities. So we always want our programming to be hands-on, minds-on programming. We want the students to be engaged. We are not lecturing them. We are trying our best to make sure that their social emotional wellness is in mind. So we do this through activities that are interactive, engaging, helps their minds stay on and be attentive. So sustained exposure. Another amazing thing about Girls Inc. is we follow the student as long as we can. So the longer the student is in Girls Inc., the more complete or whole or elevated her or their experience will be with Girls Inc. One of our staff members shared, and I really like this. Girls Inc. has such a wide and vast reach, but it's intentional, right? There's a lot of things that we can do with the students, but we want to make sure that's intentional. And by having that sustained exposure, we can make sure that we hit those pillars, the strong, smart, and bold pillars. And then finally, girls only. So I like to say pro-girl environment. So inclusive, uplifting for students who do identify as girl, some students who don't identify as girl, but need that pro-girl environment. That is what Girls Inc. provides. So I've mentioned it a few times already, but when we say strong, smart, bold, it's not just our mission statement. There is intentionality behind that. So we have strong programming, we have smart programming, we have bold programming. So the goal is to have a student have touch points in all three of these pillars, all three of these programs or areas. So we believe that Girls Inc. girls are strong, that they're healthy, they're in charge of their health, they know how to possess knowledge, skills, and attitudes to develop and sustain healthy lifestyles of their choosing. They're in charge. We also believe that Girls Inc. girls are smart. So they're educated, they're academically prepared, they're engaged, they're connected to opportunities and life experiences that can lead them into careers for their post-secondary education. And then finally, we believe that Girls Inc. girls are bold. So when we say bold, we mean independent, but we also mean civically engaged, so social justice. We want to make sure that our students are emotionally intelligent, that they are able to confidently and boldly stand up and stand for what is right and what is wrong with a system and how to address it as well. So just a little bit more on a local scale, we have our programming focused. So for Strong here in San Diego, we run a few programs. You'll see under each of these, we have specific program names. So for Strong, we have a She Leads Summer program that we've ran in the summertime. That is really comprehensive with all three areas. I won't go through everything, so you can just see it is there. But specifically, the reason why we're here today is we're talking about the Smart Future Seminist program as well. All right. So why is it important to support girls? It's so important to support girls, especially during this time where a lot of um, our young people and our young girls are having less autonomy over their bodies and their choice. They still face so many intersectionality systemic barriers. So, the importance of supporting a girl can really change her life, can change their life. You'll never know exactly how, but some students may share with you that they went to a Girls Inc. programming, and that week it was Dexcom, and they learned more about diabetes and learned that their family has a history of diabetes and what they can do now to be on the lookout, be prepared. Again, you just really, you never know why, or you never know if what you share with the students will be impactful, but I promise you it is. It's just so important to support these students. So I just wanted to share some best tips or practices when working with our students. So how do we mindfully mentor our students? So the tone and voice that we use with our students is so critical. Three big keys: proud and not prideful, powerful, not patronizing, engaging, and concise. So at the core of all of this, we want the students' voice to be heard, right? We don't come into the classroom with this, I am all knowing, I am all powerful, and I am going to impart my knowledge on you. And you are just the student. That's not how Girls Inc. works. It is a cohesive relationship, it's a cohesive environment. So we really want to make sure that we, again, come in with our strongest, smartest, boldest self, but that we also recognize biases that we might carry too, right? So the students we work with are majority are girls of color, students of color. So as an educator, as a partner, as a volunteer, depending on how you fit in the system, there is bias at play. So it's important just to know when we are working with these students to not do more harm than has already been done. Not that any of the volunteers for Girls Inc. has ever done this, but it's always good to just talk about. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about specifically how to work with the students. So when you are working hands-on with the students, side by side, doing an activity, I really want you to keep in mind, our goal is not to rescue the students. Our goal is not to tell the student exactly how to do it. It's okay if they struggle. It's okay if there's a little bit of, I don't understand this. I don't get this. I'm confused. It's okay. Let the student know that they have that power, that they can solve it themselves, because we really don't do them any good by coming in, saving, quote unquote, saving the day for them. We want to let them figure it out. And that's the part, especially with STEM, right? Is it's always a struggle. You're going to fail more times than you succeed. So that is a goal we want the students to understand when we are doing projects with them. Ways that you can encourage the students is by saying, oh my goodness, I love how enthusiastic you are about this project, or the way you solved this problem, that was so clever. I'd never thought of that. Your creativity is amazing. It's going to take you so far. Really complimenting a student on her or their internal characteristics, whether than their or other than their external characteristics, is so important. especially as a girl, you hear so many times um, your appearance being commented on or your body being commented on. And Girls Inc., yes, the whole girl, it's all part of it, right? So we really want to elevate those internal characteristics that we see with the students. So then on the far right, you'll see this what, so what, and now what. So when we're working with the students, it's always good to ask these three questions, right? So what is the activity like for you? What are you observing? Did someone have a different experience than you? What surprised you? What's going on right now? So what? What is the thing that we learned from this experience? What does it tell you about yourself? What lessons can we learn from this? How can we pull or draw something out from what you've learned? And now what? How do you take this thing that you've learned in the classroom and apply it to your life? How do you apply it to a situation maybe you've come across? Or what would you like to do with the knowledge that you have now if you do come across this situation? So specifically with Dexcom, I'm thinking, what is we're talking about diabetes, right? We're doing an activity with them. So why do we think people have diabetes? What do we think the reasoning is? We know what it is, but we're asking these questions. How can you take this knowledge about genetics and diabetes and the different types and apply it to your life? Does your family have a history of diabetes? Does your mom or your grandma or your dad or your uncle or your cousin, do they use insulin? Did you know that Dexcom creates this app that'll help you track your insulin levels? It's just all these ways to help the students have more touch points, right? When they leave Girls Inc., that really applies to their life. All right, so I want to talk about the day of. So biggest question I get asked is what should I wear? What do I want to wear? I suggest you be comfortable, especially when we're working with the students. We're going to be moving around a lot. You're going to be on your feet. Okay. So I suggest that you wear closed-toed shoes, jeans or slacks, and a Dexcom t-shirt or polo, something that the students can recognize you by. I will say this too. The way we dress also can speak volumes too, right? So it's okay to be casual because the students are dressed casual, thus making you more of an approachable person with the students. All right, so the day has come. Our programming is starting. You're excited. You're ready to do it. Here is the steps that you need to take when you are Girls Inc. mentor for the day. So the school that you're at, so we'll be at Harry Tubman, you'll come to the front office. Myself or a staff member will be there to help you as well, so you don't have to try to figure it out on your own. You'll check in at the front office. You'll sign a sheet. You'll get a visitor's pass. Please bring a government ID with you. A Girls Inc. staff member will walk you to the program classroom. We'll do our programming. Luckily, with the programming that we have with the Harry Tubman students, it is kind in the hour. So we have more time than just an hour. So we have a little bit more wiggle room, but the programming will happen. And then after the programming is done, we'll help clean up. You'll sign out. You'll be on your merry way. We'll also take pictures too throughout and at the end of the programming. All right, so let's talk a little bit more specific. So we have 3 engagements scheduled for Dexcom, 3 opportunities for volunteers to attend. You're welcome to attend one, both, all 3, whatever you prefer, desire, what works with your schedule. We will be working with 7th graders, and they're at this, the school is called Harriet Tubman Village Charter. I'll show you on a map. I'll give you the address so you have it as well. The amount of students that we'll be working with is about 20 to 25 students. So we have October 21st, 28th, and November 4th. Time is the same. We have a 2-hour window. So that is time to set up, time to make sure that we have enough time for your programming, for you to talk. And then our topics that we'll be going over. So the first day we'll be talking about what is diabetes. The students will participate in a activity where we do a game of chance. So what is the likelihood that you would get diabetes? And it's all about chance. It's a very simple activity. The second activity, which I'm really, really excited about because Dexcom is designing the program for this, is making a balanced meal. So students will have the opportunity to create a meal or a day of eating and see how they do in terms of carbs. So I'm really excited for it. I'm really looking forward to it. And then finally, the last engagement, we're going to have the students create an app. We're going to keep it very simple. It'll probably just be writing on paper, but wanted to talk to you more about Dexcom's app as well. So like I said, we have a lot of schools that we work with throughout the area. So Harry Tubman is this top one. So it's kind of it's right off of the 8, so La Mesa, SDSU area. And then we also serve Crawford, Hoover, Knox, and Morse. And then in North County, we serve Rancho Buena Vista, San Marcos, Rincon Middle School, which is a STEM site, Orange Glen, and then San Pascual. All right, so next steps. I have shared with your Mia and Victoria, I believe is their name, the Google form that I ask all volunteers to fill out. It's just one form. It's very simple. Second, we're participating in a background check. So we have a service we use through this program called Sterling Volunteers. We have your email and we send it to them. They will ask you to fill out a form, and then we get pinged to see if you are checked, if you are cleared. We do not see any of your personal information. It just is a green light that says Susie Sally is good to go. Submitting your COVID vaccine card. So you're welcome to do this before or the day of. If you can just bring a copy of your COVID vaccine card, we keep that on file, secure and safe. And then participating in a Girls Inc. training, and then receiving your volunteer assignment. So this is, again, just a little bit more about the background process. We don't retain or we don't have access to your personal information. We only get pinged when it's cleared. And the cool thing is when you get cleared through Sterling Volunteers, if there's other organizations you want to work with and they use the same service, then you don't have to do it more than once. So I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for your commitment and support for Girls Inc. We are so excited to have you. And please let me know if you have questions or anything comes up. I really appreciate it. I will also send, before we start programming, a package that has the parking, the address, the topic specifically in more detail, all the good stuff that you need to know in detail. Thank you so much. Have a great day.